Hey there, my friend. It's Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, and I want to welcome you back to another episode here on the Fit Father Project podcast. Today, we're joined by one of our very own Fit Father brothers, Gary Brummett. And Gary's an amazing guy for many reasons, and we have a powerful conversation today where we get into his weight loss journey. And a little bit of a highlight is Gary just celebrated his 60th birthday. And when I saw Gary, if I had just to guess, I would say he looks like a healthy 50-year-old. He's absolutely crushing it. In fact, he is at the same weight he was in high school now at his 60th birthday. So that's really saying something. And it wasn't always this way, as Gary shares in his story. Like, he grew up with basically an unhealthy relationship to food, like the way his parents cooked. He ended up becoming a chef, and so he's eating a lot of food, and he couldn't really figure out how to get a health routine that was sustainable. And enter the Fit Father Project. This was a really purifying journey for him where he was able to get a hold of both of his exercise and his nutrition, but most importantly of all, find the routine that works best for Gary. And that's what I really love most about this conversation is Gary has worked this program, but he's worked it in a way that works for him long term. He's found his loves. Yes, he still does our MRT workouts. He's getting the double trouble in. He does an Apex, and he shares some cool stories about that. But he does some other things that he brought in. And you can just really hear from Gary how he's so aligned now on his unique health routine. And I'll share personally, like, that is my wish for everyone in the Fit Father community, is that they come in this program, they use it, they see results, and then they make it their own. And it's certainly what Gary has done, and there's a lot of wisdom in this conversation. So I know you're really going to enjoy this one. And Gary, thanks again for coming on as you're listening to this and the rest of our brotherhood. Let's welcome Fit Father Gary Brummett. All right, Gary, welcome officially to the Fit Father Project podcast, my friend. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me. I'm pretty happy to be here too.
It's going to be really cool to hear your story. And as we always like to kick things off, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to all the guys who are listening, your name, your age, where you're from, and anything you'd like to share about family and what you do for work.
Sure. Hi, guys. Gary Brummett. I am just turned 60 freaking years old. August
Wow.
1963. That was a big deal. I have four children, wife. I make my living in real estate right now.
That's awesome. I mean, I'll say something for those that are only listening on audio. They don't have the privilege of looking at you. There's no way I'd say you're 60, man. You look fantastic. Skin looks
Thanks.
healthy. Dude, you look like a healthy 50-year-old.
Thank
So
you.
good on you. And
Thanks.
I think that kind of begs the question about why did you start this program and kind of where did you start? Take us back to kind of the beginning of your Fit Father journey.
Sure. Well, my journey began before Fit Father with a DBT program. Uh, DBT therapy, I guess.
Yeah.
Realigning my relationship with food. I had a very bad
Mm-hmm.
relationship with food from being a young person. In my house, it was the Clean Plate Club. I'm sure a lot of folks can feel that, and
Yeah.
it was the only thing. Eating was the only thing I could do, and know that I wasn't going to get in any kind of trouble for it because as long as I ate what mom
Mm-hmm.
made and finished my plate, I was good. So it takes a long time to grow up and have a bad relationship with food. And I got
Mm-hmm.
right with it for a while, and it could only take me so far because I was refusing the exercise piece. Right, it was
Mm-hmm.
all into the food and the nutrition, and I said I absolutely have to. In the beginning, I thought I'm so active. I'm just out there all the time. I'm outdoors guy. I'm hiking. I'm hunting. I'm fishing. I do all biking. I do all kinds of stuff, but it just wasn't enough. And I
Yeah.
saw the program, and I think it was my anniversary. I don't know. It's over a year ago for sure. You guys would know what the date is for sure. But anyway, um, I was like 196 when I started your program, this Fit Father, and for my
Mm-hmm.
birthday I was 175. I couldn't
Nice.
be any more happier because I got to tell people at my 60th birthday party that I weigh right now today what I weighed in high school. There's nothing cooler than that. There's nothing cooler than that. And it's about health and not just longevity, but the quality of life and thriving and not just surviving, but thriving.
Yeah. That's awesome. I definitely want to get more into your relationship to food, and I have the privilege of knowing a little more about your background. And is it true you were a chef for a lot of time, and like you were making
Yes,
a lot of delicious food? Let's get into that because I think you're talking
sure.
about like the taste and the taste of food being delicious, and like not being able to control yourself. I know a lot of people
Yeah,
can probably relate to that. So let's
yeah,
unpack that a little bit more based on
sure.
your background.
Sure. Yeah, I graduated from CIA, the Culinary Institute, in 1986, and I started 16 years old cooking in a Greek pizza shop, and I've done everything since then. I had a 30-something year career in food service, um,
Hmm.
and then I reinvented myself. We can talk about all that stuff later. But from the food side, it was I was privileged enough to have the skill to be in some very very high end places, um, working with some really cool people and great ingredients, and it just eating was eating. We always have to taste. When I was a pastry chef for a while, I was the biggest dough ball you probably ever could have. You got some photos there of me, pretty round, pretty
Yeah.
big and pretty round. So as far as I always understood nutrition because that was part of my training as well. But I really wasn't able to break the cycle. I think sometime back in the '90s, I did South Beach, the
Hmm.
predecessor to all the
For sure.
paleo keto, all the stuff we're doing is popular now. And I did. I lost 20 pounds on South Beach just cutting out carbs. And then I started eating carbs again. This is an old story, right? Everybody, and then
Yeah.
there's all the weight again. What's different this time
Hmm.
is that I have an exercise routine. I have a schedule every week of what I'm going to hit. Don't always make it, right? But make the schedule. Fall short, you still did more than if you had no schedule at all. And I'm I eat now in a style that I call carb aware, right? If I'm gonna have
Hmm.
pizza, I'll have pizza, and it's not cauliflower crust. Not there's anything wrong with that, but it's good
Yeah.
pizza. But instead of having 5 or 6 slices of pizza once a week or twice a week, I'll have 2 slices of pizza every couple of months, and I'm fine. I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm awesome because you know, I know from my own research, from listening to you, and you're part of my research. Everything you guys put out is part of my research. You know, we don't generally get enough protein. We just don't, and we need
Hmm.
it, especially if we're building muscles. And it's so easy to get carbohydrates, and then carbohydrates cravings, glycemic index goes crazy. Your blood
For
sugar's going
sure.
up and down, up and down. So,
Yep.
so I'm very focused on just getting enough protein, and I make those choices, little micro choices over a long period of time. So,
Hmm.
it's small choices, long time, and just deciding to have double veg and no rice this afternoon with lunch. Small
Yep.
choice. I didn't miss the rice. I like rice, but if I'm going to eat it, it's probably going to
Hmm.
be brown or maybe even quinoa instead because of the protein factor.
Yep.
Um, so carbohydrates, and I still enjoy beer. I like to drink wine. I have a mixed drink, but never a mixed drink with any soda or anything like that. I might have a
Hmm.
martini with some olive juice in it. Um, but it's moderation is the hardest thing in the world, man. Shades of gray for a guy like me. It's black and white. Life is black and white. Switch on, switch off.
Yeah, so but it sounds like you are finding that moderation right now
Yeah,
in some way, shape, or form. And I'm
yeah,
interested in how this program has helped you do that. Like, it's obviously partly a mindset thing, partly a habits and routine on a daily basis thing. Like, maybe get into like, did you have any, like, some guys, when they fill out like the mission statement and do that stuff, they have like big epiphanies, like, holy crap, I need to completely change my ways. I see something really deep here.
yeah.
Was that your experience? Was that a part of this? Or was it more just like the working of the program that started to transform you?
The epiphany was that I'm not as smart as I thought I was, and I need to stop listening to myself, my own, my own truth, which was I could do this with just diet. It's not true for me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it with just diet because I could get
Yeah.
to a spot, but that's not the spot I wanted to be at, and I couldn't burn calories
Right.
without adding exercise and adding muscle. And the training of
Mm-hmm.
mixture of cardio and muscle building, it just
Yep.
I don't know. It really worked. It got me the last. I was crying a cat on an email a couple times. I'm like, this last 10 pounds, like, what the heck? I'm plateaued for so long, and just frustrated, and working hard and doing everything, and plateaus come and plateaus go, and it broke through.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I kind of upped my game with really putting, because of my flexible schedule with my real estate business. I was able to really, for the months preceding my birthday party, it was a big bash. Um, I was
Hmm.
able to increase my workout routine by probably 30% to just really hit it and get it down there.
Yeah.
And I really watched my diet more than ever. The epiphany was, all right, so I'm a man and I'm flawed, right? I'm human like every man and woman, right? But I'll stick on this side of the lane for now. Um, vanity is a thing, right? There's vanity, and man, I wanted to look good. I do. I feel better about myself. I'm in sales. I sell better. I'm more comfortable. I'm more
Hmm.
powerful. I'm a more powerful salesperson. um, Honestly, my empathy is expanded through this whole journey about learning about flaws, addiction, food addiction. So that really
Yeah,
was
for
like
sure.
the hardest thing about managing a reduction in food versus a reduction or abstinence from alcohol, abstinence from cigarettes, coke, whatever your thing is, your DOC.
Yeah.
We got to eat. You don't have to smoke. You don't have to
Yeah.
drink
Right.
alcohol. You don't have to do your drug, but you got to eat. So you can't just not eat. That might be easier for black and white
Hmm.
switch on, switch off guys. So it's really
Yeah.
even harder to reduce your intake. But again, like smart choices. Um, Now back to what you said about the epiphany. Yeah, I'm 60, man. There's no, you know what? I
Hmm.
turned 50. You guys out there turning 50 soon or just did, you can make a strong argument, I think, that you could still have half your life in front of you, right? 50 and 50 is
Hmm.
100. People do that now a lot more than we
Hmm.
used to. 60,
Yeah.
120? Nah,
You're the.
no. I'm playing the
Yeah.
back. I'm playing the back nine, man. There's no denying it. This is the back nine, and how do I want to go out? Do I want to go out? I
Yeah.
have people in my family. I'm sure everybody's got them. You know, I mean, heart disease, diabetes, the list goes on. And I feel, and my empathy towards people who are older than me and are struggling with that, I just feel like, wow, I wish like what Dr. A did for all these people because of your history with your dad and stuff. I wish someone could have got to these folks early on. Obesity is an epidemic. It's no joke. It sounds so cliche. We hear it all the time, but it
Hmm.
really is the number one leading cause. I mean, all kinds of ailments.
For
And
sure.
then there's another study. I can't remember the lady's name. I was just listening to a different podcast with a doctor. Is it okay to say somebody else's
Hmm.
name on your show? Okay,
For
so it
sure.
was
Yeah. There's a lot of people that
so
know
it
a
was
lot
an
of
it
things.
was
Let's
an
go.
interview that Ed Milet did with his physician, and she is all about
Yep.
the skeletal muscle and the composition of skeletal muscle
Yeah.
and the difference between a tenderloin and a ribeye, right? All that fat, no fat, marbled, unmarbled,
Yeah.
subcutaneous fat around your organs, all that stuff, and then
Hmm.
that muscle being healthy, the sweat session, like the sweat sesh
Hmm.
multiple times a week, driving out toxins and everything in your body. You're turning over stuff instead of letting it sit. Your gut system's healthier. Elimination,
Yeah.
just it's way better. So
Hmm.
that muscle that we're trying to build back up, because we can lose it so easily at my age. It's far easier to lose than it
Yep.
is to maintain or build. So it acts as it helps every system in your body to have lean muscle,
Yes.
instead, and helps you be strong against resisting diseases and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's really an interesting bunch of studies going on right now about how darn important lean muscle in your body is. And I finally, I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you what, I've been going to the same doctor for like 6, 7 years, and I lose weight and I lose weight and I lose weight. And he's like, he would not cut me like 1 inch of slack. Like, you're overweight. You're overweight. I'm worried about pre-diabetes for you. Your blood sugar's like floating with high. You're the years and years and years. Not until this last checkup, after I hit my goal with your program, did he finally look at me and give me like one of those attaboys, like, yeah, all right. I'm like, dude, if you didn't say something, I was gonna knock you down. Like, you gotta give me this prop today, now. I am 175, and he's like, yeah, you're not obese anymore, but you're not done, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not done. I'm not done. I got a little ways to go. I'm doing some measurements, and there's one area I'm
Yeah.
uh, I'm looking to get those numbers down, just that number. I don't care if my weight stays the same because I'm fine with it. I'm good. If I can just move it around a little, right? Reduce this, increase a couple things,
Mm-hmm.
I can do well. Um, yeah, I got off on a wild tangent there, man.
No, that was awesome. I have like many comments, and first off, I also want to give you the virtual knuckles through the screen. Attaboy too from
Thanks.
Dr. A. You absolutely crushed it.
Yeah,
Also, it was interesting, and I'm kind of more reflecting at a high level of your process as well as what you
yeah,
shared. You knew that exercise was like that linchpin for you. That thing was lacking in the past, and so this program gave you a way to do that in an effective form of exercise, which then strengthened your resolve and your consistency with nutrition. And also, what you did that was brilliant is you started a research, like beyond just Fit Father, like your own research stack, which is strengthen your mental and emotional connection to the importance of muscle, to the importance of exercise. What you're expressing right now when you're sharing this and the enthusiasm and all the research you've done is literally the new neural connections that you've made about the importance of exercise, muscle, and health. So it's like, obviously this is way more holistic and sustainable because like
yep,
you have so many different areas that are like coming together into this solidity, and obviously you've got a lot of results too on top of that. So I see how this is like game changingly good for you, and that's like so cool to hear. I'm pumped up for you. and
yeah,
and I think every
yeah,
guy listening to this, like my question would be like, what is your linchpin aspect of your life? For some guys it's sleep, for some guys it's the drinking, for some guys it's a morning meal. For you, Gary, it was like part of the exercise and how that feeds into nutrition. And then to your point as well, like metabolically speaking, you do the workouts, it changes your metabolism. You process
yep,
carbs differently. You have greater
absolutely,
insulin sensitivity.
yep,
Like everything just works better. And then if you're in the back nine like Gary, like holy crap, like do you need to maintain your muscle? Now the longevity anti-aging expert docs are saying that your muscle mass is like completely correlated very tightly with your lifeline. So that's massive, and
yeah.
the sweating in the brain. So you're crushing it, man. Absolutely. So
Thanks.
what's it been like with your family watching you go through this? What's their experience been like seeing you do this?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I credit two of my kids. I got four kids. Two are my blood kids that I had with their mom, and two are my bonus kids that I have because I married their mom. Right, so they got different genetics than I do, and I'm their bonus dad. They got a real dad, another dad genetically, whatever. But
Yeah.
my two kids, my two kids were athletes in school in a way that I never was able to do myself. I never fit in and clicked with the right activity. And this is
Mm-hmm.
this is this is another really important point. We can come around to it again later, but you've got to find an activity that you absolutely love. If
Yeah.
you don't like lifting, do a little,
Yeah, totally.
but find something you love. And I'll get back to that. I credit my kids with helping me realize and find my fitness mind. You talked a little
Mm-hmm.
bit about neuroplasticity and being
Yep.
open to stuff. My daughter is 30. She's a nurse. She's doing deadlifts that I can't even tell you how much. Where I watched the video and I'm ready to die because I think she's like throwing this. And my son is in the military. He's a lieutenant in the Air Force, and he is jacked. This is a kid I used to knock around even when he was full size. Like
Yeah.
he was my size, look at me in the eye, and I could still knock him around. And now I don't even want to play knock him around anymore because he's way jacked. He's into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's
Yeah,
got
probably
my
not then.
he's got my grandson out in the garage doing burpees and push-ups, and I went down to visit those guys side by side, me and my son. He's 32, and I was 59 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we did Apex 10 together, side by side. Dude, that was amazing. I can't even tell you how that touched my whoa, how it touched my heart, and my
Yeah.
soul to do that with my son. And I had I think I had 15-pound dumbbells at the time, and he was like doing 20s because he's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you right now that my grandson is going to turn 7 and he's already like working out with dad, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Me and Lucas, you're listening to this, you're watching this, man. You were doing Apex with me, man. We're gonna do up to 10 and back, man. We're gonna do it. So and I got it from
That's
I got
beautiful.
a lot of it from my kids, and then I knew I had to do it. The support system of seeing guys struggle, right? So now we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
inside of Fit Father in the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook page, seeing guys struggle, seeing guys cheer them on. I was a struggler. I got cheered on. I saw struggle. I cheered on. And
Mm-hmm.
the insight that I was able to gain from my year plus journey with it, I feel like I'm in a very good position to reach back in and help out when other folks are struggling. I think I got a decent
Mm-hmm.
insight because I was there too. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to. There was a lot of stuff I didn't want to do. So
Well,
it,
let's talk about that immediately right now. I want to hear about what your specific struggles were. Was it a period of time on the program? Was it an aspect of the program? What did you struggle with? And what was the time frame of the program? I think a lot of you are going to relate. Like, how long did you struggle? What were the struggle sources? Let's get into that.
part of the struggle sources were part of the struggles were I have gym equipment in the basement. I I hate going into the basement. It's dark. I have a
Yeah.
happy light in my office. When fall comes, that thing is on 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in
Yep.
the afternoon. I need that. I need
Yep.
that sunshine. So I hated going downstairs. I even bought a bike, a spinning bike, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good one, just a heavy wheel and pedals, like down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
I used it a little. Just inconsistency, total inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't I don't know why I don't know why I couldn't get there. And the program, I actually found a gym local. No, I joined Fit Father and I took a park and recreation sponsored exercise class, dude. You guys are gonna laugh. I was the one guy in the class, and I was probably one of 3 people under 60 years old at the time. So picture me in a community gymnasium at the school on Tuesday night with 25 60 to 80-year-old ladies doing jumping
Yeah.
jacks, doing all kinds of crazy, just calisthenic kind of stuff. And every once in a while, we get out a little weight, and I'm like, all right, so I'm not quitting this. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my vibe. This was not a good fit. But I was
Mm-hmm.
not going to quit. I signed up for the class. I paid for it. I'm in. I'm gonna do it. I
Yeah.
did the whole thing. While I was there,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about it with some real estate client at breakfast, and she said, "Oh, geez, you should check out my gym." I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
tried gyms before. I don't know. The vibe inside is, I don't know. That's not my scene. She's like, no, this gym is
Mm-hmm.
so different. You got to come see. Ends up, I went to the gym. It was really nice. The sense of community inside my gym. So this is a key point for me. Community is
Mm-hmm.
super important. And
Yep.
while I feel like I'm a strong person, I'm a self starter, I'm a driver, I can do stuff on my own. If I got teamsmanship, if I have community, which is again a fifth father piece of community for
Mm-hmm.
sure, helped me stick with the program. I got into the gym and I started doing routines of lifting free weights and a little bit of machines, all based on stuff I learned from the the FF30, whatever
Yep.
FX30.
Yep.
And then I saw a spinning class. Oh, I've
Yep.
been practicing yoga for over 30 years, on and off, on and
Mm-hmm.
off. And I'll get back to spinning. It's the weirdest thing. Maybe you guys can relate. I do something that makes me feel good, and I do it, and I do it, and I do it, and I feel good, and I feel good, and I feel so good that I don't have to do it today. And then the today turns into like the next time
Yeah.
I don't have to do it, it turns into 3 days. And the next day it turns
Yeah.
into a week. And then all of a sudden it's like, jeepers creepers, it's been 18 months since I did a sun salutation or a yoga flow. What's wrong with me? Now I feel crummy again. My back hurts, my sciatica is returning, all this stuff. So that psychological, like, why do we stop? I don't have the answer to this one, so I'm gonna throw it out there for you and all your smart folks that you talk to. Why do we stop doing stuff that makes us feel so good? We just stop. I just stop. I just walk away. So back to spinning. I find spinning. I'm like, someone once told me I should try it. I really like it. I'm like, nah, I don't know. So I took a spinning class. I took 2 spinning classes. I could spin 5 to 8 times a week right now if I had the time. I absolutely love it. I
Mhm.
get in a headspace where nobody can touch me, nobody can access my mind. There's nothing coming into my mind except my own little my biofeedback, pounding loud
Mhm.
music, strobe lights, black room, dark, spinning instructions,
Mhm.
just pounding it. And I mean shredding numbers. I sent you a picture of my feedback screen there. My average
Mhm.
watts were like my highest I ever did was like 242 average watts, which is nuts. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah.
I don't, 180, 190. I regularly peg over two, which is good. I'm happy to do that. And my muscle tone in my legs. I mean, it's not all I do because I'm still doing the apex, and I'm still doing
Yep.
double trouble, and I'm still doing yoga. And again, some people think yoga is foo foo. Some people think yoga is religion. Whatever. You know what? If it works for you and you like it, I love spinning. It was a turning point because, and I would have never joined the gym, and I would have never gone to the exercise class. I would have never done any of that if it weren't for seeing the Fifth Father thing, looking online, doing my research. Is it for real? What is this thing? I always look at reviews. I'm like maybe like a little detective. I go out and I find stuff out. And I was like, yeah, this is legit. This is legit. I'll tell you what. I'll give it a couple of months. And it's funny. I was like, yeah, lifetime. Nah, no, I'm not going to lifetime. That's I don't know what's that is. He may not even be here next week. Stuff like that. So I stayed in long enough, month to month, to already have paid for the lifetime, and then I paid for the lifetime anyway. So if you guys are on the fence, do it because I don't know, it was good. The spinning is absolutely awesome. I sweat. There is a river of sweat running down the bike. The floor is soaked when I'm done. I drink a half gallon. We'll talk about water later too. I
Yeah.
hate water, guys. I hate water, but I
Mhm.
but I drink it. So I know I need
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah,
I want to talk about water in a second, but I also just want to really make sure people caught a lot of the subtleties of what you were sharing. Is one, you were inconsistent because you didn't enjoy your gym environment in your dungeon basement, and like, how are you going to find? And yet we can contrast that with the joy you describe of your spin.
yeah,
Like, you couldn't
yeah,
be two different environments, and you're obviously going to go towards stuff which fills you up.
yeah.
Two, your spin is definitely hitting you on this mental and emotional, call it even meditative. Like, you're getting zoned in, you get the feedback, you're working on clearing your mind, right? And so, how good does it feel to be in the zone? I think half the reason people play sports is not because they actually love the sport, but they love the feeling of being in flow. And you're finding flow in this. So, that's restorative to you on a mental, emotional level as well as physically, right?
Absolutely. I believe you did. Did you do an interview with somebody else about zone psychology and flow psychology and being in the zone?
Oh, yeah. We've done some flow
Yeah.
stuff for
So
sure.
it's so like what you just said before I had spinning. You know what my thing was to get that headspace all to myself was mowing the lawn. Dude, I
Right?
got I got an
Outside makes
acre
sense,
of
repetitive.
grass.
Yeah.
This big freaking lawnmower. It's an hour job. That's loud.
Yep.
I got earplugs in. Nobody can hear me. Nobody can
Hmm.
talk to me. Nobody can interrupt me. I'm just and it is meditative. It's absolutely meditative. It's walking meditation.
Yeah.
And I'm not like looking. I'm not driving a meditative. I'm not going into it even with the spinning. I'm not going into it with anything other than, this is my goal for what's my goal for today? What's my ride goal
Yeah.
today? And it's like, okay,
Yep.
minimum watts, minimum mileage, average RPMs. Okay, I'm on. Let's
Yep.
go. And
Yep.
goals are goals, man. Sometimes you hit them and sometimes you don't. But
For
the
sure.
headspace it's awesome.
It's activating deep parts of your psychology too, because it's you're competitive with yourself. You're tracking numbers. There's a sense of completion afterwards. Like these are all the reasons that we find stuff to be fun, and so it's so cool. I think everyone who right now is struggling can take a lot from this. That you got to find a combination of things that ends up feeling fun and restorative for you on this movement front. For you, it's like you're still doing the Apex double trouble, but you're mixing it in with this broader getting outside, doing spin, all this, and obviously seasonally it's going to change for you, being in Connecticut, like coming into the winter, you guys are cold as shit in the winter. So being able to go to spin class is something that's very sustainable.
Yeah,
So I love that. That's awesome.
the lawn mowing goes away right in the fall, right? But it
Yep.
is New England, so I have a walk behind snow blower, and I have a
There you go.
400-foot driveway that goes up. And people are like, "You don't?" I'm like, "I do. I absolutely do. I walk that thing up and
Good.
down, up and down. Doesn't matter what the snow amount is. I never have a plow, and I'm walking it. I guess the only better thing I could do
That's
would be
great.
to hand shovel it, and I'm not going back that far. So yeah,
I agree. I think you're in a good spot there. Let's talk about water too.
one more thing about the gym. I will go in.
Yeah, for
I'm not
sure.
a lifting like aficionado. I never was like that kid in school. I never got it. I don't know. Anyway, I'll go in now early to the spin class and I'll hit 2 or 3 machines. I'll do some upper body because
Nice.
spinning is arguably like one set of muscles repeatedly never changes. Even though there's three
Mm-hmm.
positions and you do a bunch of stuff, it really is. It's I don't know how to put it. It's not broad spectrum. It's like this.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely aware that I need to continue to hit other ways. I have to do legs in different directions. Instead it can't always just
Yeah.
be that one thing. So I'll go in and hit some
Yep.
machines and do some other stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Love that.
So what were you? What, oh
Hydration.
yeah,
Hydration. You said
dude.
something a lot of guys relate to, that you hate water, and your water looks like it's a different color than normal water.
Yeah,
So I know there's a solution in
yeah.
that bottle.
So there's a quote by W.C. Fields. It's pretty racy, and I'm probably not going to give the whole thing here. But he said, I never drink. Well, he was an old drunken guy. He was a comedian. If you guys are too young, you 40-year-olds who don't remember, 50-year-olds who don't remember W.C. Fields was. He wore a hat. He drank a lot, big red bulbous nose because he was always drunk and funny guy. He said, I never drink water. Get away from me, kid. You bother me. That's that dude. I never drink water because fish, because what fish doing it. So
Yeah.
so I don't like water just because of the taste. I don't. There's one I can drink like Fuji, probably maybe
Mm-hmm.
Pana water, but I really just don't care for water. What I do like is bubbles. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Pellegrino guy. And the sodium is not an issue. The bubbles don't seem to be an
Yep.
issue. I've asked my doctor. I've done a little research. So Amazon.com brings 2 cases of Pellegrino bottles, the big plastic ones, to my house twice a month. And
Mm-hmm.
in the morning, I put in here, and this is hydration. And I usually drink a little bit more. This is a half gallon. My kids would break my stones about you need to drink a gallon with all the exercise you're doing. I'm like, look,
Mm-hmm.
I used to get water in 2 ways: coffee and beer. And they're like, that doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, they're both made with water. That's my water. No, that's not good. So okay, so I don't like water. I found Pellegrino. I love it. And you know what? People are like, oh, Pellegrino, it's so bougie, it's so expensive. You know what? You guys probably spend more on a cup of coffee, latte or whatever, or Starbucks coffee, the venti, the tall one, than I do on a bottle of mineral water with some bubbles in it. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with the
Yeah.
money. In here, I've got some effervescent vitamin tablets. So I
Nice.
put 2 of those in here. One is a men's multi, and one is more geared towards a big hit of vitamin C. So those go in here,
Yep.
and then a bottle of kombucha. So I've got my
Mm-hmm.
fermented, my gut health. I take
Nice.
some. So wait, back on hydration, and I'll get off on the supplement stuff later. But
Hmm.
um, so it's kombucha and those effervescent fizzy vitamin pills and a bottle.
Do you know the brand of those in case anyone's
Yeah,
interested
Boost,
in those? What's the
Boost, Boost,
Boost boost? Oh,
VOOST. Hold on. Amazon sends them too. There's two tubes, and I
nice.
get two kinds because they're, I don't know. I mix it up a little bit, and
Hmm.
so yeah. So I got my Pellegrino water in there, the kombucha, and it's like a ginger raspberry something. Ginger's really good for me,
Yeah,
for
it is.
heat, for health, for I don't know. I love that stuff, and it's
Hmm.
got a little berries in it, and then the Pellegrino and the that, and I drink that. I drink one of those for a spinning session, 45 minutes. Um, I drink
Nice.
one all day long. If I'm not spinning, I'll drink one anyway. And then I always have like a bottle of Pellegrino. I have two offices, one in my home and one is a real office, and I always have Pellegrino laying around. Um, I can't
Hmm.
even tell you the last time. Yeah, I can tell you the last time I had a soda. It was a diet ginger ale and it was a little because that was the only choice there was at the time. So hydration.
Hmm.
Um, I cut way back on coffee because of this, right?
Yep.
I started
Yep.
off pounding water like you guys, in the beginning of in the beginning of my fit father, I was pounding water. I had a big 20-ounce glass, like a big 20-ounce plastic pilsner, and I cut myself a deal. I bribed myself. Actually, it's a trick I learned from somebody else's book about pairing stuff up. When you want to change a habit,
Yep. Yep.
that's a cough drop. You pair up something you don't want to do or don't like with something that you like. You do those together,
Yep.
or you can't do the one you like until you do the one that you don't like. So I love coffee. I only drink one kind of coffee. I'm like a snob about it. It's Dark Magic from Green Mountain. Sorry. And, and I drink it black and I'm hardcore with it. And I couldn't have my coffee until I drank 20 ounces of water.
My man.
Dude,
That's good.
I got 20 ounces of water. I could count 13 slugs. I knew I could do it in 13, and I hated it. Every morning, I was like, all right, here we go. I'm doing it. And I just kept doing it and doing it. And honestly, you guys said this. Somebody said it. After a while, it's really not as bad as it used to be. And then
For
I
sure.
found out that I could make it even better because I was complaining to my kids. They're like, well, why don't you get like, Mio or some squirt in, no calorie. So I overcame very, very bad, consistent underhydration. Dehydrated almost
Hmm.
all the time. You know what coffee does to you. It's a
Yeah.
diuretic. Um, and I would drink six coffees a morning, and I just hit the
Hmm.
ground running. Now I don't drink six coffees anymore because I make my coffee and my bottle at the same time, and
Hmm.
I'm like this, and it cut way back. I'm probably down to having only two coffees a day now.
Nice.
So I don't know. Coffee drink
That's
is like not the
fantastic.
worst thing in the world for you. There's some studies
Yeah.
that actually are tying it to maybe some longevity issues, but I'm happy. I'm very happy to be doing that. So my routine in the morning, this is part of it, and there is a supplement aspect to it because of the vitamins and kombucha, right? Raw kombucha, gut health, all those
Yep.
microorganisms. I love yogurt.
Hmm.
I eat Kobani vanilla, but not every day. But every day I do drink kefir. So
Hmm.
when I take my
Nice.
medicine, I still have a few meds that I take. Um, I drink my meds with kefir, put it away, and then I've got my kombucha Pellegrino vitamin water. I drink that all day. And as far I picked up supplements from you from listening to you talk and your podcast and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I absolutely hit magnesium and
Nice.
D3. and that's
Yep.
really it. I mean, I know all the stuff, the multivitamin that's got all kinds of crazy stuff in it,
Yeah, a ton of stuff.
and
Yeah.
my diet is um, so varied. I mean, I eat everything, and I eat everything in the world except for kidneys and sea urchins.
Yeah.
kidneys, kidneys, you can't get the smell out of them, no matter what you do. And sea urchins just smell like iodine, so it's a big delicacy a lot over in Europe and Asia. And I've tried, but no, man. But I eat everything else. Feel like you eat liver, you eat this. I'm like, yeah, chicken feet, whatever. I eat
Hmm.
it. I'm a huge omnivore, and I love raw foods. And I focus on trying to get as much whole foods as possible. You know,
Yeah.
whole unblanched almonds, cherry
Yep.
tomatoes. I put in the center island of my kitchen. I put a three-tier basket, and I always have got like a couple of apples and some grapes and some kind of tomato,
Yep.
cherry tomato, plum tomato, whatever it is, and maybe an orange, not so much, but and and then that's my snacking now. It's like it's right in my face. And
Yep.
I don't buy the junk so much.
That's cool and that's subtle. Again, I think you do a lot. You do a lot of subtle things right. But just the visual reminder of having that in your kitchen, these whole foods that are full of color, probably is a constant reminder of, oh, I eat healthy foods. And with your chef background, ingredient quality is so drilled down into probably your soul, like even deeper than your mind, that it's probably not a problem for you to go for ingredient quality ingredients. I want to make one more comment too. It's with these plans, and I know you've experienced this firsthand. We're always trying to balance the anchor of consistency with enough variety that makes life fun. And it seems like you found your anchor of consistency with your morning ritual, with your kefir, with your certain kinds of snacks and your supplements. Like you have this early morning anchor that's consistent. And then you eat a wide variety of foods, but they're all whole, mostly non processed foods. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I am very, very, very aware, like extremely aware of white carbohydrates. So if it's white sugar, white
Yeah.
rice, white potato, white pasta, I'll have pasta, but it's protein pasta or lentil pasta or chickpea
Yeah.
pasta or
Me
you
too.
know, and I'll have a baked potato every once in a while, and I know that's a glycemic index hitter, but I also know, I believe
Yeah.
from my I'm not sure where I got it. Somebody along the line said to me, "I'd rather have you eat if you're going to eat white bread. I'd rather have you eat white bread covered with butter or in olive
For
oil
sure.
than just eat white bread, because the oil helps slow down the way that your body uptakes and turns that into that sugar in your system. So I slow it down. If
Yep.
I eat the baked potato, um, I usually scoop a little bit of it out. I will definitely have butter, and I will eat the skin, and then I
Hmm.
will eat my bonus daughter's
Yep.
potato skin, and then I'll eat my wife's potato skin if she doesn't finish them all, and then sweet potatoes too. I
Yeah.
mean that's carbohydrate, but it's a superfood. It's good for
It's a
you, and
different,
the skins.
for sure.
I love the skin more than the inside sometimes. Yeah, and not talking about
Nice.
fried potato skins
I'm,
from
I'm sure
Chili's
you, I'm
either,
sure
man.
you, I'm sure you cook those incredibly well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Nice. Have you done any fasting? Has that been a part of your journey? Have you followed the phase 2 recommendations of any intermittent
Yeah, I
fasting?
did it. I have done it, and I very quickly learned how to beat it, how to jam in more calories
Hmm.
than I should have in a short period of time. So you
Hmm.
know, I was I figured out how to beat it by just eating an inordinate amount in a short period of time. However, I still do value. I highly value. I believe in it in the way we should live is the way that we um, evolved. Thank you. The way we evolved was not having the
Yep.
level of access to food that we have, and it was within the
For
last
sure.
200 years. That was a rapid, rapid change.
Hmm.
200 years ago,
Hmm.
even a lot of people didn't get the daily meal. They got one meal a day, etc. I value what good it does my body to not always be processing some food. It's
Right.
shut down. It's
For
shut
sure.
down for some time. It's good. It's
It takes
good.
energy to process food. Yeah.
It's good to be empty for a little
Well
while.
said.
So I still value that long time.
Yes.
I love breakfast. And honestly, in real estate, I'm always out meeting with people. And there's two or three kinds of meetings to have, and they all involve putting something in your mouth, right? So the easy one for everyone is
Yeah.
happy hour, right? And it's that, or the two martini lunch thing. I really try to stay away from those. I do them when I have to. I work with a lot of attorneys. Work with a lot of folks, and so I do breakfast meetings. And I do breakfast
Mm-hmm.
meetings. I found a place local that puts a plate together for me. It's called Keto Mountain. I'm not a keto guy, but you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It's got bacon, eggs, spinach, some cheese. It's awesome. I sent you a picture of my breakfast over at Paul Gregory's restaurant, which I was like, listen, I know the chef in
Mm-hmm.
the background. I'm back. I know the owners. I'm like, listen, I know it's 8 in the morning, but I would like a chopped salad with hard boiled eggs and blue cheese and the whole 9 yards. And I want you to take some of that awesome smoked salmon you have. And I don't care what you charge me. Put the smoked salmon on top of the salad, and I got a picture for you there with my cherry tomatoes and my egg. That was my breakfast, dude. You guys, that is one of the best breakfasts I could ever have. Is this awesome chopped salad with smoked salmon, and the
Yeah.
calorie load for smoked salmon is so low. For 2 ounces of smoked
Yeah.
salmon,
It's fantastic.
it's such a great food. I eat canned salmon too. People are
Uh-huh.
like, oh, what is that? What is that
Yeah.
stuff? It's like, look at the protein in here, and the bones are like all soft and crunchy, and eat the
I
whole,
agree. A lot of
sardines in a
minerals.
can. I mean, not everyone has the palate for
Yep.
that. I feel sorry for guys that don't have a real wide palate. I really do. It can be really hard. I got people in my family.
Mm-hmm.
It's red meat and potatoes, and don't put any chives in my potatoes. Like, leave them white. Like, that's all they eat. So I feel for people without a big wide palate. Yeah, it's easy for me because I love food. Food's been a passion of mine forever, forever, and it probably goes back to my heritage, my mom and my grandparents, um, and being a little kid, and getting praised for eating. So I turned food into a career. Um, so
Mm-hmm. How frequently do you do free meals or cheat meals? Is that a part of your how you actually think about your week
nope,
and your plan?
I think you're gonna like
Okay.
this. I do free meal when
Cool.
I want to. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I do
I
free
love it.
meal when I need to. I need to, but I can still make.
Yeah.
You can make a free meal better than a free meal. You can have two free meals sitting in front of you, and
Yeah.
one is just marginally better for you than the other one. And why not? It's still a free meal, and you're still happy, and you're still satisfied. If it means cooking with reduced fat ricotta cheese or reduced fat cheese, but you're going to eat cheese, good. Like, have your cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you can
Mm-hmm.
tell the difference. I know you can tell the difference between heavy cream, half and half, and skim milk in your coffee. But when you're melting cheese, have the lower one. Increase the
Yeah.
vegetables. I do these omelets, man. I do omelets. Like, my meals are a lot of vegetables and a lot of protein, a lot of sea protein, fish protein, definitely
Yep.
steaks, some pork every once in a
Yep.
while, very lean, definitely chicken, no skin. I like the thigh better. Why? Because it's got more fat and it's got more flavor.
Yeah.
I eat them, you know. But I can definitely, like, if I do an omelet now, um, there's only like enough eggs to just hold all those vegetables together. It's more like a frittata than an omelet, and it's just a ton of vegetables. And I
Yeah.
always have got something laying around. Just chop it up, fry it in a pan. Whole butter, olive oil, avocado, whatever your fat of choice is.
Mm-hmm.
Some folks are into coconut fat. Whatever your thing is. And then I just bind everything with eggs, and I usually can't finish what I made. It's only two or three eggs, but it's so much vegetables. It's a full 10-inch saute pan. It's full. And maybe I'll come back to it for lunch or
Nice.
share it with the
That's
dog, you
cool.
know? Anyway,
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so advice for some guys starting out, some newbies. Like if you could go back when you were starting out, even for times when you were struggling, what's some words of encouragement, some perspective that you would share at this point in your journey?
I wrote down a couple of things, so I'm going to look down at it every once in a while. One of my favorite ones, and I use this with a lot of people. I'm a mentor to some folks in some other regards, um, and absolutely to my kids. I'm their dad, and I'm their mentor as well, and some other young people in my life. Um, if you like what you have, keep on doing what you do. If you don't like what you have, do something different. It's that simple. You either are happy,
Mm-hmm.
like right now, I'm very happy with myself. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm good. I'm totally good. I want to lose a little bit more. I want to look a little different, but honestly, I am real good and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it works.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like the shape you're in, like I was for a long, long time, those pictures go back a long ways, man. Um, I wasn't happy about it, and I finally got to the place where I could do something about it. So if you're happy, do what you're doing. You're not happy, do something different. Figure out what that different
Yeah.
thing is, and keep trying. Um,
Nice.
Weight loss is hard. It's harder than you are going to realize in the beginning. If you're on the beginning of this journey, this is harder than maybe people say. Maybe people want you to know. Maybe than you think it is. It's really hard. Um, but it's doable. And it's important to do hard things. Every day you should do a
Mm-hmm.
hard thing. And I don't even mean just about weight loss. I mean, do a hard thing. Like, just pick something. Um, do a cold shower instead of a hot shower. That's not
Mm-hmm.
fun sometimes. That's hard. But to do a hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got garbage cans. I got to go up two monster garbage cans. I got to go up that 400-foot driveway once a week. There are days when I'll hook them on the back of my car and drive them up there, but when I'm in the right zone and I'm in the flow, I will pull those things up, and it takes me a long time, and I have to stop and rest on the way. My arms are killing me. My quads are on fire, and I do it anyway because I did a hard thing today. I'm doing it. I'm just doing
Yeah.
a hard thing. My car needs to go in the shop. It's about 2 miles away. I drive it down there, and I walk home.
Hmm.
Why? It's to
Nice.
do a hard thing. Do a hard thing. That's what you need to do. You need to change and
Yeah.
do things differently. If you're doing everything easy in your life and you don't like the way you are, start doing some hard stuff. And you can do it. And the
Mm-hmm.
support's here. The support's here. Reach out, lean on people. Nobody gets through it alone. Not nobody, maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't speak in absolutes. Maybe somebody does, but not me.
Yeah.
Um, Another one that I found pretty cool, written in chalk on the wall at my gym, and that gym gives me such a sense of community. Like the website, like the Fit Father inside the thing. Train the quit out of you. I love that. Train
Mm-hmm.
the quit out of you. Take it on any level you want. You can be physically training and train the quit. Just keep going and don't quit. Or you're doing something else in your life. You're learning a hard thing. You have a hard job. Don't quit. Just learn,
Mm-hmm.
train it out of you. So some way, and lean on mentors. Look at the people that went before you. Listen to advice. Ask for help. Don't ever hesitate to ask for help. Just don't quit. That's it. Sounds easier. It's easier to say than it is to do. Because you know what? Who knows what tomorrow is going to bring for me? You know what? Who knows? I could fall. I could fall again. Fall off my exercise wagon. I fell away from yoga for years. Um, One of my mentors in yoga, um, he's actually a culinary god. Also, he's a chef of. He was on the first culinary Olympic team that went to Frankfurt, Germany, and won a gold medal with a completely
Wow.
vegan presentation to a bunch of old
Dang. That's
European
really
old
cool.
European guys, right? meat,
Used to eating
sausages,
sausages and butter.
right?
Yeah.
A complete vegan gold medal first time ever. Anyway, he said to me,
That's
we
cool.
were talking, and he said to me, he said, you know what, Gary? He said, your warning sign, is 3 days. You can miss yoga for one
Mm-hmm.
day, you're okay. You miss it for 2 days, you can still be okay. If you miss 3 days, it's a flashing red light. It's a warning sign. And I've been so like aware of,
It's
oh
good advice.
jeepers. And I print out my weekly calendar off my Google Calendar. I tack it up in my office, and I write in my training days. I write in my spinning
Yep.
days. I write in, and I track. I want to do two. I want to do two double troubles in a week. I hardly ever get that one done. I get one. But I spin 5 times. I do 3 or 4 or 5 yoga sessions. I was on a kick before my birthday. Again, I'm not strong upper body guy. I never was. I don't have these big pecs and biceps. They're kind of small, but 100 push-ups. So
Mm-hmm.
in a week, right? So I could do 10 on one day and 10 in the morning and 10 in the afternoon. And this guy, this chef, was actually, he's 71 years old. And up until recently, he could do 100 push-ups. And he's
Nice.
compromised. He's a compromised guy. He's got some stuff going on. He's older, but man, if he was 71 and I was like 58, and he's like, yeah, I just finished my 100 push-ups today. He doesn't do them all at once, right? But I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I gotta man up. I gotta do some push-ups. So
Yeah. The resounding theme in all your advice is like this, like the actions. We're taking actions. There's a lot of doing actions, and in the consistency of that, you're purifying yourself. You're creating and shifting momentum. Like, and like you said, your first quote that you shared, if you're happy, keep on doing what you're doing. If you're not happy, do something different.
do,
Do the
yeah,
push-ups,
yeah.
drag it up. It's do. And it's through action, despite what our mind may say in any given moment. And I think you've just really lived that.
It,
Like, you're getting things on the schedule, you're taking action, and things are changing as a result.
Everybody's different. Everybody likes different things and does different things. If you try a thing and you don't like it, don't say I'm done. Just try another thing, and don't
Yeah.
stop trying things until you find yours. You will. I
Yeah.
also got my wife. Another impact on my family. You know, uh, I'm a guy who could start something and go like a million miles an hour on a thing, and then I'm
Yeah.
done. I ran my course, and um, I she was impressed that I kept spinning, and I've kept spinning, and I like spinning, and I'm still going. And she started to come to the gym. She got herself a gym membership. I got her to come to the gym. She's spinning next to me now. Um, she's got a big job. She can't hit it at the frequency that I do, but she's already like
Mm-hmm.
tracking her average watts and working on her resistance, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It's like it's what
I
I
love it.
wanted.
All right. Well, final question I have for you, and you covered this in many ways, but I'd love you to state it in your own words, is what does it mean to you to be a fit father?
Setting an example. That's everything right there. I'm setting an example. Everything else is good about it falls under that in one way or another. If it's my diet or my physical routine or the way I charge into a day, the way I conduct my business as a result of it, the energy I have
Mm-hmm.
to get stuff done. I'm just setting an
Yeah.
example for others, and hopefully, you know, bring some other folks along. Like pass it along, pay it forward, do something for somebody else, help them out. I don't know. Set the example. If I can set an example for somebody and they get there, that's awesome. That's the best thing in the world.
Well, on that note, I'll want to thank you on behalf of myself, our brotherhood, for coming on here and sharing and being a living example. Gary, dude, you did this thing. 60 years young. Like, amazing. Like,
Nice.
truly. Congratulations, and
Yeah.
thanks for being a living example of this program.
Thanks. I cannot believe an hour just went by, man. Wow.
Yeah,
If
we had a
you
good time.
if you ever have time to talk again, you're ever in Connecticut, we'll sit down. We'll sit down and have a keto breakfast or some good breakfast. We'll talk some more. Yeah, if you ever got time, man, it
Sounds
would, it
fun.
would be great. Doesn't have to be recorded or anything, but you're good.
Yeah.
You're good to talk to, man. I'd love to hear some more about
Thank you,
your
Gary.
story too. Okay, peace out.